The Board of Trustees of the Lamar Consolidated Independent School District is called to order at 6:36 p.m. This is the regular monthly board meeting being held on May 17, 2022. We have a quorum with all members present. Please join me in a moment of silence to observe as you feel appropriate. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance and the pledge to the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Dr. Nivens, are there any recognitions or awards?
Well, we have just maybe one or two this evening. Just one or two. I can say it does my heart well to be able to celebrate our young people and their families and the staff that support them. So I will turn it over to Ms. Cole Hamilton. She comes up and we start to celebrate our young people.
Hello, good evening, Madam President, Board of Trustees, Dr. Nivens, and our amazing community. We have several acknowledgments this evening, and it's going to be really exciting, so I'm going to go ahead and get us started. We're going to start with our vows and sals. As you know, this week we have commencement ceremonies, so Trustee is going to ask you to come to the front. Go ahead and get situated. As I call the campus, I need the campus principal to come forward, as well as our vow and sals and their parents. So, kicking it off, our first graduation, our first school, Lamar Consolidated High School. Emily Chow is the valedictorian at Lamar Consolidated High School. She is the daughter of Hung Chow and Chung Huynh, and she will attend the University of Texas, majoring in mechanical engineering. Emily? Emily Dunn is a salutatorian for the school. She's the daughter of Bob and Christy Dunn, and she intends on attending Duke University, majoring in interdisciplinary engineering and physics. Emily aspires to become an astronautical engineer or an astronaut, and their principal is Dr. Kay Williams. Thank you. Next up, we've got Terry High School, where the principal is Mr. Juan Nava. Juliet Acoma is the valedictorian of Terry High School. She is the daughter of Georgette Martin and Maurice Martin, and she will attend Xavier University in Louisiana, majoring in biology. She plans to pursue a career as a doctor specializing in sports medicine. Victoria Salceda is a salutatorian at Terry High School. She's the daughter of Benito and Sylvia Salceda, and she'll attend Rice University, majoring in biosciences, while also having a concentration in cell biology and genetics. Victoria aspires to one day become a cardiologist. Up next, we're going to recognize the scholars at Foster High School, where the principal is Mr. Jerry Kipping. Miguel Jimenez Gomez is a valedictorian for the class of 2022 at Foster High School. The son of Mario Jimenez and Yolanda Gomez, he will attend Rice University, majoring in mechanical engineering. And Abigail Opuku is a salutatorian at Foster High School. She is the daughter of Yao and Lydia Opuku, and she will attend the University of Texas. Abigail will major in economics and pre-medicine as she aspires to be a doctor. Next up, George Ranch High School, where our principal is Ms. Heather Patterson. Our valedictorian is Mr. Michael So, and he's the valedictorian and the son of Deborah and Alan So. He will attend Rice University, majoring in neuroscience and Spanish on a pre-med pathway. Upon receiving his undergraduate degree, he has plans to work in the medical field or in public policy research. Michael Sow. Our salutatorian is Mr. Mark McCullough. He is the son of Stacey and Kurt McCullough, and he will attend Texas A&M University with plans to study mechanical engineering. And our final high school campus of scholars is Fulshire High School, where the principal is Mr. Dan Ward. We've got Caitlin Morez, who is the valedictorian of Fulshire High School. She is the daughter of Chetta and Tom Morez, and she will attend Texas A&M University, majoring aerospace engineering with a minor in computer science. Caitlin aspires to become an astronautical engineer. And trustees, not here this evening as our salutatorian for Fulshire, but it's only because our salutatorian is competing at state golf tournament. But Tristan Gabbard is a salutatorian, and she is the daughter of Devin and Alicia Gabbard. She plans to attend Midwestern State University, majoring in economics. Tristan hopes to one day attend law school, open her own law firm, and continue pursuing a professional golf career. Congratulations to all of our top scholars. All right, trustees, next we're going to recognize our Mathcon students. Now, Mathcon is an international competition for students across the United States and Canada in grades 4 through 12 that requires our students to think with ingenuity and insight. There are 2 rounds of the Mathcon competition. The first round is regionals, and in the regional round, the students take an online test facilitated by their LCISD math teacher. This year, we had 2,512 students participate in the first round of competition. Out of those 2,512, Mathcon selected 8 LCISD students to compete in the final round of the competition in Chicago, Illinois. In order to be selected as a finalist, these 8 students performed in the top 4% out of all competitors, outperforming over 25,000 other students. In the final round of the competition, our students traveled to Chicago and competed against some of the greatest student mathematicians from across the country and Canada, and it is truly our honor to recognize them this evening from Randall High School freshman Anissa Jaramillo. Anissa's parents are Phil and Laura Jaramillo. From Lamar Consolidated High School, sophomore Vanessa Thomas. Her parents are Thomas and Teresa Emeto. From Terry High School, sophomore Deshaun Green. Deshaun is joined by his parents, Deshaun Merida and Javier Green. From Terry High School, Junior Lance Vargas. Lance is joined by his family, Priscilla Vargas, Lexi Martinez, and Lindsay Martinez. George Ranch Senior, Grant Cummings. Grant has his parents, Josh and Denise Cummings. George Ranch Senior, Emiliano Hasso. Emiliano is joined by his parents, Mario and Ophelia Hasso. George Ranch Senior, Anzul Khan. Anzul is joined by his parents, Abid and Tamisla Khan. And earning a bronze medal in the Mathcon finals and ranked number 7 internationally, George Ranch sophomore, Ji Ying Song. Ji Ying is joined by her parents, Hai Jung Song and Yung Wang. We do a group photo with our Mathcon students and our Board of Trustees. While we take our picture, will the parents of these students please stand if you're not already standing? We want to recognize and celebrate the parents of our Mathcon students. All right, next up, we're going to recognize our some of our CTO students who compete as part of our CTE program. So first up will be FFA, and I'm pleased to inform you that we have some spectacular students among us. Ms. Jade Villa is a junior at Lamar Consolidated High School. She's been a member of the FFA chapter for the last 3 years, and her achievements have included placing 3rd with her hog at the Fort Bend County Fair and having the privilege of raising 2 steers for not only the fair, but for the major shows for next year. She's been a chapter officer for the last 2 years, and this is the drum roll. She is now currently the first Mexican-American who has held a seat as the president of the Southwest District 3. Within our district, she will now lead students from other school districts, including Fort Bend, Brazos, Port ISD, Angleton ISD, Columbia, Brazoria ISD, Needville ISD, Stafford CISD, and of course, our own district. Give it up for Jade. Next up, we're going to recognize our students as part of our Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America Pathway, better known as FCCLA. Now, this organization functions as an integral part of our Family and Consumer Sciences educational curriculum. Our students from Reading Junior High competed at state last month, and please help me in congratulating the following students: Ali Gayetti and Jason Chin, who placed 3rd in Food Innovations; Patrick Bryan and Maria Resendez, who placed 3rd in Chapter Service Display; Cameron Chang, Kendall Rector, and Kennedy Runyuns, who placed 3rd in Professional Presentation; and then the following students qualify for nationals in San Diego, and they will travel to compete in June. At the state competition, Addison Alvarado and Courtney Mays competed in the event Focus on Children and placed 1st. In this same competition, Mackenzie Gazaway and Amelia Rue placed 2nd. Alex Hinton placed 2nd in Teaching and Training. And Amarachi Ejim qualified for nationals in the event of Digital Stories for Change. We also want to recognize their advisor, Ms. Chambers, who was given the FCCLA Outstanding Advisor Award for Region 4. Ms. Chambers is the principal of hospitality and tourism teacher, and she always goes above and beyond for her students, and so we're so proud of her for receiving this great honor. Students, let's get situated for the group photo. HOSA is the CTO associated with our Health Science Program of Study, and HOSA is a global student-led organization that actively promotes career opportunities in the health industry. Last month, students from across the district competed in HOSA events at the state level. We would like to take a moment to recognize these students. From George Ranch High School, we've got Sarah Paksanjan, who completed in the HCI exam. Ira Shazad, who competed in the Family Medical Physician. Catherine Alaya, who competed in the HCI exam. And Caitlin Cash, who placed fourth for nurse assisting. And they are led by their sponsor, Ms. Holmes. Let's get our George Ranch photo. All right. Okay, from Foster High School on the Creative Problem Solving team, we have Bassi Emmanuel, Zaina Alami, Malaya Tremaine, and Isabel Dees. Non-Win also competed in the event of Family Medicine Physician, and they are led by their sponsor, Ms. Gwen. All right, Foster students, let's take our group photo. And finally, from our HOSA group, the district had 2 students who qualified for the national level, and they will travel to Nashville, Tennessee in June. Jonathan Salazar is a student from Terry High School who will compete in the event of interviewing skills. His HOSA sponsor is Ms. Korchinski. And then Sajid Famed is a student from Fulshire High School who will compete in the event of medical terminology. And his sponsor is Ms. McHenry. And finally, for CTE, we've got our TSA students. TSA stands for Technology Student Association, and it's a CTSO associated with our engineering program of study. Students from across our district competed at the state level last month, and we even have a state officer, Bailey Bird from Lamar Consolidated High School, who was named Sergeant at Arms for the state of Texas. The following students will compete at Nationals in Dallas in June on the blue track from Lamar Consolidated High School. We've got Aman Amen, who will compete in board game design, tech bowl, and tech problem solving. Craig Cabrera, who will compete in scientific visualization. Emily Chow, who will compete in system control. Nathan Caillou Dawes, who will compete in board game design. Emily Dunn will compete in system control technology. Sebastian Ives, who will compete in system control and webmaster. Renee Martinez, who will compete in board game design, scientific visualization, system control, tech bowl, and tech problem solving. Daniel Mazagarigos, who will compete in scientific visualization. Francisco Santabanez, who will compete in webmaster. Aria Totempudi, who will compete in board game design and tech bowl, and they are led by their sponsor, Ms. Rausch. Got it? All right. Now competing nationally on the red track from Terry High School, we've got Marianne Alvarado, who will compete in animatronics and biotechnology, Jasmine Dion, who will compete in animatronics and digital video, Saline Falah, who will compete in computer integrated manufacturing, Giovanni Fuentes will compete in animatronics and system control, Octavio Garcia will compete in computer integrated manufacturing, Michelle Garcia will compete in computer integrated manufacturing, Catalina Martinez will compete in animatronics and systems control. Ganyet Ogidon will compete in biotechnology. Paula Ramirez will compete in biotechnology, and they are led by their TSA sponsor, Ms. Gresham. Oh, you can plug it there. On the gold track from Foster High School, we're going to get ready to recognize some additional students. These students are heading to nationals in June. Miguel Jimenez Gomez in phototech, Ramita Riccon in forensics, Isabella Wynn in forensics, Jolie Gomez in computer integrated manufacturing, and they are led by their sponsor, Ms. Bodie. Competing nationally on the maroon track from Reading Junior High, we've got Mohammed Jaffer in mechanical engineering structures, Elvina Lynn in promotional marketing, Jay Mittal in mechanical engineering structures, Jacob Petmiki in flight, Rashul Viez in mechanical engineering, and their sponsor is Miss Ferguson. From George Ranch High School, we've got Quentin Fernandez in engineering design, Caitlin Wang in engineering design, James Logbickler in animatronics, Kishin Misra in software development, Emma Petroff in animatronics, Alexis Predvit in engineering design, Jae Ying Song in software design development, Ryan Sorensen in engineering design, Caitlin Tran in engineering design, Adam Visvas in animatronics, Ryan Weltley in engineering design, Afshul Zubair in software development, and they are led by Mr. Morgan. All right, slide on back for the photo. Oh, where'd Kay go? I can't see her. Can't see Joy either. Ms. Danziger, you're gonna have to come to the front. Let's go ahead and solve for that now. Just, there we go.
There you go.
Open your window now.
All right, thank you, kiddos. And from Fulshire High School, we have Miss Emma Nowotny in photographic technologies, and her sponsor is Mr. Matheson. The 2020-2021 Foster High School Yearbook Talon, entitled Subject to Change, has earned national recognitions and awards from the National Scholastic Press Association. In September 2021, the staff received the distinction as an NSPA All-American, which is the highest possible score given by a judge in the areas of writing, photography, design, and coverage. And in October 21, the staff earned an honorable mention for NSPA Design of the Year theme package, placing the book among the top 10 yearbooks in the nation. And in December 21, NSPA named the Talon as a finalist for Scholastic Journalism's preeminent award, the Pacemaker Award. Entries are judged by a team of professionals based on coverage and content, quality of writing and reporting, leadership, design, photography, and graphics. And during their trip to the National Convention in Los Angeles, the staff earned 7th place in Best of Show. These are the first national award recognitions for scholastic journalism in the Foster High School history and the first in district history. In addition, the Talon Yearbook has been named as an ILPC Silver Star winner, chosen as a national sample book by Balfour Publishing, a featured publication in the Balfour Yearbook, as among the top 3% of their publications, and has received a Columbia Scholastic Press Association Gold Medal Award for 4 consecutive years. Tonight, we're recognizing one of the staff members and the sponsor, Miss Whitney Smith. Whitney's a junior who served as a Talon staff member. Her family tonight are her mother, Courtney Smith, grandmother, Winona Smith, and her great-grandmother, Mabel Lewis. And the Foster Yearbook Advisor is Miss Danielle Bell. Oh, she's not here this evening. We'll get a picture with Miss Whitney. Trustees, I must applaud your amazing endurance as athletes, but this next group of athletes I'm about to bring up is even more impressive. Recently, the Foster Ladies Water Polo Club team placed 3rd at the state tournament held at the University of Houston. They beat 3 large 6A high schools on their way to 3rd place finish. Congratulations, ladies. Next year, water polo will be an official UIL sport, and we look forward to continued success. I'm going to call up these athletes and go over some of their accolades, but we've got sophomore Clara McKee, freshman Emma Woods, senior captain, come on up, Miranda Miller, junior Annabelle Luna, junior Dahlia Khan, freshman Daitam Ani, freshman Mena Dimifiles, senior Susie Cook, captain junior Lola Trujillo, freshman Kinley Niles, freshman Connie Garcia, freshman Malia Tremaine, sophomore Kylie Delira. Making the all-district first team was Miranda Miller and Lola Trujillo. Making second team was Dahlia Cron and Kinley Niles. All-region first team, Miranda Miller, Lola Trujillo. Second team, Dahlia Khan. Honorable mention, Kinley Niles. Making the all-state first team, Miranda Miller, Lola Trujillo. Honorable mention, Dahlia Khan, Kinley Niles. The state girls co-coach of the year, Casey Parker, because there was a tie. And the 2022 season team results, they won first in District 34, first in the South Region, and 3rd in state. Good job, ladies. Congratulations. board, community. This concludes our recognitions this evening. I appreciate your time and attention. Thank you so much.
You know what, same. Same.
She's not.
I know what
Not a problem. You need hand sanitizer. You need some.
Zach, your charge, buddy.
The hand sanitizer.
I think so. Are we washing clothes?
We can stay. This first one's got-
I just want to get a drink. That's all.
Well, that was fantastic. Dr. Nivens, are there any introductions?
Yes, ma'am, Madam President. We have two introductions, I believe. I'll turn it over to Mr. Bates.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Nivens. Good evening, Board of Trustees. Once again, thank you for your patience for the exciting presentations prior to. But tonight, we're excited to introduce two new members to the LCISD family. And I'd like to begin with our principal at Ryan Middle School, Dr. Stacey Johnson. Dr. Johnson is a proud graduate of University of Texas at Brownsville, where she earned her Bachelor's of Arts degree. She also attended University of Houston, Victoria, where she earned her Master's in Administration and Supervision. Dr. Johnson has recently completed her doctoral degree in Education Leadership at Liberty University. Dr. Johnson has a total of 17 years of experience in various positions such as teaching in the classroom, math and science facilitator, math instructor, instructional coordinator, and of course as an assistant principal. Unfortunately, Dr. Smith is not able to join us tonight as she's attending an event with her son at his high school, but I still want to make sure we took the opportunity to introduce to you all and to the Board of Trustees the newest principal of Ryan Middle School, Dr. Stacey Johnson. Next, I have a unique introduction, as I would like to introduce to you
We're gonna have to get
our new canine to the LCISD family, and he goes by the name of Jumbo.
a, yay!
Jumbo is a Malahide breed born on November 7, 2020 in Hungary. Jumbo speaks Hungarian, but is learning English quickly.
Wow.
Jumbo is handled by LCISD canine officer
If we
James
can, I need
Edge.
to ask him.
Jumbo is trained and certified in narcotic detection and began working with LCISD in May of 2022 and is the first narcotic detection canine for LCISD. Jumbo was donated to LCISD by Shannon and Rocky Smith, who are in attendance tonight. If you'll please stand. And they're the founders of Canine Officers Incorporated, a local nonprofit located in Richmond, Texas. Canine Officers, Inc. provides the district with all the training for Jumbo and Officer Edge, along with the supplies needed to start our canine program. I present to you our very young canine member, Jumbo.
Do we need, can we take a pic, it's safe, I mean, it's appropriate? Okay. I don't know what the right word is.
Or the sanitizer. Of the sanitizer.
Yeah, that sanitizer's gonna do it.
One more. Jumbo.
That was exciting.
Madam President, that concludes all our introductions this evening.
Thank you. Mrs. Johnson, are there any public comments?
Yes, ma'am. If you wish to address the board, you must fill out a card and submit it before the presiding officer calls the meeting to order. While speakers generally have 5 minutes to address the board, the presiding officer may establish an overall time limit for public comment and adjust the time allotted to each speaker when necessary to accommodate a large number of speakers. However, no speaker shall be given less than 1 minute. All of this is in compliance with HB 2840. Each speaker tonight will have 5 minutes. While the board values hearing from members of the public, trustees may not respond to comments as they are prohibited by law from discussing or deciding any subject that is not on the board's publicly noticed agenda. Speakers having complaints against individual district employees or trustees may only address the board after filing a complaint form and in the manner provided for in Board Policy DGBA, Employee Complaints, F&G, Student and Parent Complaints, GF, Public Complaints. The presiding officer or designee shall determine whether a speaker has filed a complaint according to policy. Any speakers who complain of individual district employees or trustees during public comment will be directed by the presiding officer to stop addressing the board and will refer the speaker to the appropriate complaint policy. Please state your name when you come forward. Our first speaker tonight is L.J. Edenmeyer.
Good evening. My name is L.J. Edenmeyer, and knowing this may take away from my time and I may have to read fast, I have to say I was trained as an actor that you never share the stage with animals or children because nobody will hear a word you say. So let's see how it goes. Good evening, board, administrators, educators, parents, students, and anyone listening in the interest of our public education system, both in general and specifically here in LCISD. This is my last address as a public educator. I want to begin by thanking you for the last 9 years. What we've seen this evening is a celebration of everything that is amazing about what we do as educators and what we do here in LCISD. There are some issues that I would like to address, and I do want to address here as my last speech with you guys. I want to begin by thanking all of you. I want to thank from Leslie Hack to Dr. Kay Williams. I have been from them to from English 1 pre-AP to running a theater program to back to English 1 pre-AP again. And my experiences with these people and with this district have changed my life. I have had some of the most incredible coworkers who have become lifelong friends, and some remarkable students who are shaping their chosen industry and our future even as I speak. I could spend all of my time naming folks to thank. You know who you are, and I thank you for helping me become the person and educator that I am today. If you've been present for my addresses to this board in the past, you know that I make a point of being professional, respectful, and for me, even tempered. I have every intention of doing the exact same thing this evening. I'm not playing scorched earth. I will no doubt incite detractors, as I seem to do at times, simply by showing up in the classroom. That said, I come to you today to give voice to many fellow educators in a public forum regarding issues of varying levels of concern. Some of these issues you can address and rectify, and some are simply mandated, and you, like us, are put in an at-will situation answering to a group of people who really have no background determining what is best for education. But until these problems are addressed in a unified way, there will be no resolution. Teachers are tired, and it feels as though, at times, we have begun to mistake the word appreciation for the word support. Now, don't misunderstand me, we love appreciation. We love appreciation, but we also need support. Appreciation is something that we get an entire week of that just happens to coincide with the same week that our state is doing business with Pearson Education and running the STAR exam, which is one of the weeks that we as teachers feel the least appreciated throughout our year. It reminds us that week that we are no longer considered the professionals in the room. We appreciate the occasional breakfast taco. God knows we love them. But we would also love to have the support of maybe one less PLC a week to spend grading papers and planning lessons, and so that our families get just a little bit more time at home with us, or simply doing things that fuel us and prepare us for the coming day or for the coming week. Appreciation is giving us a shout out when we put on an amazing program or taught an incredible lesson or brought something new to the table. Support is having our backs when a parent with a history of going after teachers does so again and no one steps in and says, stop, enough. Appreciation is providing us with the electronics that we need and that we have to assist in preparing our students for the future. Support is realizing that inviting every student's personal lives onto campus in the form of cell phones has been a hindrance to the educational system. And finally, appreciation is thanking us for our work, which we love. Support is recognizing that other duties as assigned has to have its limits. Education has become a business. The state has pushed it, and many districts have bought into it. We are constantly told it is our responsibility to satisfy our clients. What seems to be of confusion is who our clients are, and our clients are society. That is our role. We are often told that we as parents do not raise children, we raise adults. We are not teaching children, we are teaching society. That is our client, no one individual, parent or child. Teachers are exhausted. Mine is not the only resignation that you will see throughout the state of Texas, far from it. And I'm not the only one in LCISD, but there are many who are going to be coming after. We are facing a teacher shortage. And these teachers, more than anything, need not just your appreciation, but they will be looking for support that is desperately needed. Support through tough conversations
Thank
and
you, Mr.
hard
Edmeyer.
decisions.
I appreciate it. I'm
And thank you
sorry.
very much
Thank
for
you
your
so
time.
much.
That is all, Madam President.
Okay. Are there any board member reports? I'm gonna mix it up tonight, and I'm gonna start down over here.
I know. I wasn't ready. No, I just got to visit a bunch of schools over the span of this past time, and it's been great. I mean, I've seen some awesome things, and for my kids' personal students, my personal students, my kids' teachers, I've had some great interactions, and I've seen my kids grow a lot this year. I've seen my first grade little girl enormously grow in reading, so thank you to my kids' first grade teacher and all that. So that's my report as a board member and a dad.
Great. Trying to think, it seems like it's been a long time since we met last, but it really hasn't. I know I attended the Foster Falcon Senior Parade. I think it's Foster Flyout, something like that. That was a lot of fun.
The car parade.
The car parade, it was fun, so I think that's about it.
We had our Surf's Up event, which was
I say, Mandy, yes.
a
Assisted
success.
well with that,
And
yes.
it was a great time. And just thank you to all the teachers and staff for a challenging year, but a great year. And thank you for everybody that's part of the district for what you do.
I'll go last. Mr. Hubenak?
I went to Jane Long Elementary, one of the places that I went, Jane Long Elementary not too long ago with Dr. Nivens, Miss Cole Hamilton, Bentley Elementary Principal Jill Nels, the mayor of Richmond, and several other people, and we were the judges of the Amazing Shake, the final round. And this was a pretty amazing event where 10 different individuals, students from 3rd to 5th grade, came up and gave presentations on different life skills and being nice to people and things, and we were the judges for that. So I appreciate Jane Long inviting me to be a part of that, so thank you.
What does that stand, what's the Amazing Shake? What is that acronym, or what is the shake? Oh, the handshake, oh, okay.
They would approach us, the judges. We started the afternoon in the library where they came up to us and initiated conversation. And so, how are you doing? What do you do for a living? And they would ask those kind of questions, and they were functioning as professionals.
Very nice.
And then we all went into another part of the library where the judges sat around a table, and they came in one at a time and gave a speech to us. It was very brave of each of those kids. So it was a good afternoon.
Nice.
Of course, we had our employee banquet, recognition of all our teachers that have been here and staff and either 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 years, which was, of course, they had a wonderful night. They enjoyed the banquet. And of course, for the first time since I've been in LCISD, we also honored our retirees. And I think they were tickled to have their names called and be able to come up and have pictures. So thank you for adding that to the banquet this year. Then I attended the Youth and Philanthropy, which is YIP, which is through the George Foundation. And that was an amazing celebration at Constellation Field. This is where the students from all over Fort Bend County, they apply to be part of this program. They work throughout the year doing volunteer work for nonprofits. And once they started calling the scholarships, I believe our students won 30 scholarships in all. Am I right on this? And 2 of them, I think one from Lamar and one from Terry, won the top scholarship. They gave 3 $5,000 scholarships, and our district won 2 of them, which I was so proud of. And it was a little warm, but the kids had a great time, and I was just so glad to see that program back in action this year, and the celebration, because we haven't been able to have it. And I just thank the George Foundation for what they do for our students. And of course, like you said, Surf's Up. We had a record number. I think it was between 1,600 people showed up, and the cakes went, I think Dr. Nivens was like, oh my goodness, a $15,000 cake. But it is one of the events that our employees really look forward to and enjoying themselves. And thank you for the hard work of Leaf and the board, and for April Nemick for all her hard work on that event. And then during Teacher Appreciation, I got a few of my friends together. We went around to different places and were able to get some cookies donated and made cookie trays. And we went to the secondary, a lot of the blue track schools, and put them in their lounges and helped them celebrate Teacher Appreciation. So thank you to my friends that helped me do that. And again, like you said, it feels like we blinked and the year went by, but I think it's been a wonderful year, and I can't wait for graduations to start.
Tomorrow night. I was able to attend several of the things that the other trustees have mentioned. We also had the Volunteer of the Year luncheon. Mandy, you were there as well. Another thing to jog your memory. And that was really neat. I'm glad we do that. And then the Superintendent for the Day, got to be a little part of that. That was fun. And I think that's going to be an annual tradition, as I understand. So that was really neat. And especially, I got to see all the hard work that our administrators put into that. So I appreciate everybody doing that, and I know the family appreciated it a lot too. So that was neat. And then I was able to go to the Decision Day at George Ranch. So that was a nice time to watch the seniors get to show off their plans, and I really appreciated that. So it's neat to see what everybody's planning to do, and just that they have a plan is so good. Yeah. That's it for me. Dr. Nivens, do you have any reports?
Yes, ma'am. 2. I have one as a dad and one as a superintendent. So tomorrow night, my son graduates, and he is ready to go. He's packed up and ready to go. But he'll be going to Liberty University in August, and I couldn't be more proud of that young man. So, tomorrow night I'm able to be superintendent, also dad, and, give him a hug and embarrass him as he walks across the stage. And so I'm looking forward to doing that. The other is, tonight, we saw an awful lot. And so I never want to shortchange anything, but, everyone in this room, we're all working hard. From trustees to you guys in the audience, to even our maintenance team. We're all working hard, and, we're all sleeping a little bit harder at night. As the year goes, we snore a little bit more at night. But one thing I want us to be reminded of is when we celebrated all those young people just now, and you saw the camaraderie, you saw the brotherhood, the sisterhood, you saw the love for their sponsors. We had Mathcon, but none of that was social studies, science. Those are the things that support schools, support kids as they go to school. And so we have to remember to support the things that support schools. Because, I've said it earlier, and I said it in the bond workshop, when you have those things and students become more aware of their surroundings, they become, they take care of their brother and their sister, they become more selfless. And you can see it when they were hugging on each other and they were taking a picture, how they were just a unit. And, so those are the things that support schools. And so I never want us to forget that. And I'm so proud of all those young people that we celebrated, and their sponsors and their parents, just for all their accomplishments. You talk about students already wanting to be an astronaut and an astrophysicist. All I want to do is play football. And so, you just think about the young people that we're serving and the diverse population that we're serving. It's humbling. It's really humbling to be able to sit here and lead a district of such great young people and staff. And so that, I had a whole lot of other things to say, but tonight that just kind of warmed my heart just to see all that and to see how they just gel together outside of the classroom. And so we just have to remember to support the things that support school.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we will take action on the consent agenda and the current action items. We will be pulling action items 9A and B. Are there any other items that the board would like to pull at this time from the consent agenda? Okay, so hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the current consent agenda and the action items with the exception of items 9A and 9B? Ms. Danziger makes a motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Lambert seconds. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, none opposed, motion carries. Mr. Hunt will now read the resolution beginning on page 52.
Whereas the people of the United States join each May to pay tribute to the contributions of generations of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders who have enriched the history of this nation, and whereas the Asian American and Pacific Islander community is an inherently diverse population composed of more than 45 distinct ethnicities and more than 100 language dialects, and whereas it is imperative for the good of our nation that schools continue to build awareness and understanding of the contributions made by Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, and whereas celebrating Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month provides the students and school community an opportunity to recognize the achievements, contributions, and history of, and to understand the challenges faced by Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. And whereas the Lamar CISD Board of Trustees demonstrates its commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion within our school district, now therefore be it resolved that the Lamar CISD Board of Trustees officially recognizes the month of May as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month and calls on the community to join with us to support and participate in various school activities during Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
Mr. Hunt. We will now have a discussion and possible approval of newly hired teacher incentives, which is action item 9A.
All right, Mr. Bates.
Thank you, Dr. Nivens.
Keep trying, keep trying.
Kevin, his mic. Go ahead, you got it.
Testing.
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Nivens. Good evening, Board of Trustees. Tonight's presentation is an action item that I'm sharing as we seek an opportunity to provide incentives for new teacher hires. The principles of supply and demand has made its way to the forefront of public education, and the recent pandemic has sped up the decision for some educators that have chosen to leave the profession statewide. Some you kind of heard earlier tonight. As a fast-growth district, LCISD, our demand for teachers grow even higher, yet we also have to share from the same small pool of teachers around the state and the district. So some of the things that kind of contribute to that supply were things such as teachers choosing to leave the profession for remote options, working remote options that we're not able to allow, teachers that are choosing to retire, teachers that are leaving the profession to change or have a career change, and just overall a few teachers majoring in education. So tonight what we're asking the board is to be able to approve a one-time $500 incentive that will provide in teachers within their first check in September. And it will allow, it'll be for teachers that have not worked in LCISD within the previous school year. And that allows us to not have anybody who chooses to resign and then turn around and see if they can be a new teacher hire. And it'll begin with all new teachers who will start on or after July 1. The reason why you see that after the date of July 1 is because we do have some teachers in the area of CTE that actually start on July 1. Most of the other teachers will actually start after August when we have new teachers come back. And we were asking that incentive as an opportunity would be able to end in August 30th. And the reason why we're asking for that window to allow us to be able to, prayerfully tomorrow, to be able to go out and say, well, you know what, now we have a new incentive, and it'll allow us to be able to grab even more teachers to try to come in LCISD. Are there any questions?
Mr. Welch?
Is this, two questions, is this $500 after taxes or before?
That's a great question.
And the reason I asked that because of the incentive, the stipend, I should say, that we gave all employees back in December of 2021 was $1,000 after taxes. So, and my second question is, where is this money coming from?
I'll start with the first question. The $500 that I'm proposing tonight would be after taxes? I'm sorry, it would be before taxes.
Before taxes.
But if it's the board's will, then we can try to find a way to make sure that it's also after taxes for all new employees. And that money right now is choosing to come out of ESSER funds.
ESSER funds?
Yes, sir.
A few questions. All right, so if a person has worked for our district and left and gone to other districts, if they're coming back, they would be eligible for the $500.
Yes, ma'am.
And brand-new teachers out of college who are on probation, because aren't they probationary? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
They would still be, all right.
Yes, ma'am.
And we would have something written in there, if they don't finish the contract year, they would not get to keep their $500?
That's correct. What we would do is say, based on the number of days worked, we would prorate what they could keep and then what they would actually have to give back.
Okay,
It's
and
kinda
that's
one-
gonna be written in there somewhere so they know that?
Yes, ma'am. That's also the reason why we proposing in September, because of course, if we went out and gave people new teacher bonuses today and they chose to now go and teach somewhere else, it'd be difficult for us to get the $500 back.
Right. So we have hired some new teachers for this fall already?
Yes, ma'am.
Will they be eligible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So this was an idea that was born out of the Budget Committee, which is Ms. Williams, Mr. Humanak, and myself. And we had our second budget meeting, and we had an opportunity to take a deep dive into revenue sources, anticipated expenses. And a lot of districts are putting out incentive plans. And so one of the great things that happened in the first two meetings is that we were brainstorming a lot of really innovative ideas about how to make our district stand out from the crowd. In addition to everything that we already have now that helps us stand out from the crowd, but particularly for new teachers. And some of those things will take a little bit longer to get going. But this is something that we can do right now so that we can remain competitive with the other districts that are offering those incentives and help us when we go to job fairs stand out from the crowd, that not only are you going to get a district with one of the best places to live, one of the best salaries in the area, but you're also going to get a $500 incentive for coming to LCISD. The other thing that we also discussed, and we're not quite there yet on the specifics, but one of the priorities of the Budget Committee was making sure that our teachers, our current teachers, are prioritized in terms of making sure that their salaries are increased and they're recognized for the challenging 2 years that we've had, and the current state of the economy and the inflation. And so this right now is for incoming teachers, but we are absolutely prioritizing current employees, and we should be able to make some announcements on that, but there's stuff coming down the pike for them too. Absolutely.
I'm kind of glad to hear that, because if I was a teacher that had worked in this district for 5 or 10 years, and you'd want to be recognized, even though we did do something already, but to be able to keep what we have.
And part of the challenge is that the valuation process that Fort Bend County Appraisal District isn't finalized yet. And so
Right.
it should be in the next few months. So our priority is making sure that our teachers and staff are paid. We just, our salary increase, we just don't know how much we can do that.
Exactly.
And we'll know that at the August meeting.
We should have budget meetings,
Which is what happens every year. We have the August budget meeting.
Yes or no, we'll know that before.
Before
If
that.
not, if not by the June 7th meeting.
Thank you for that, Alex. Any other questions? No more questions? Okay, so do I have a motion to let me read this, approve the incentives for newly hired teachers?
I'll make that.
Mr. Welch makes a motion. Do I have a second? I'll second. Mr. Hubenet seconds. Any further discussion?
Did the Budget Committee talk about $500 after taxes? Did y'all consider that, or was it just?
We did not.
How many positions do we currently have open that we're needing to fill that potentially would get the 500?
Currently, we're looking at 256 that we currently have as of today. But when we were talking in our meeting, we are prepared if that number happens to go higher.
So I think if I can't, the podium is pretty
Jill,
big.
I can see Jill.
But yeah, Jill is back there, so
And
Jill, our
Michelle.
CFO.
I see her doing
Put her on the
something back
spot,
there.
yeah. I know she's calculating.
She's doing something, yeah.
Yeah, I'm making notes. We are budgeting for 700, and just a rough calculation was that if we went to a 500 after tax, it would probably cost an additional 60,000 or so, $65,000. We're budgeting 350,000 in case we have up to 700 new teachers.
And we have the ESSER funds available for such.
We do. Because we're tying this to combating learning loss and teacher shortages due to the pandemic.
When is the final date that teachers can resign? I know that doesn't usually hold water, but,
That date is July the 8th.
okay.
Do we need to decide in this motion if it's pre-tax
Need
or
to
after
amend it.
tax? Okay,
One of the practical issues, I think, with doing it, us paying for the tax would be, if the idea of this is to market that we're doing a $500 incentive, are we going to get a benefit to making it post-tax? And how are we gonna market that? At a job fair, you're gonna say $500 post-tax. You might invite a conversation, well, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, the actual implementation of it, we have Ms. Cole-Hamilton in the room, who definitely is our communications expert. And so we will find a way to communicate that appropriately, but I would think it would help to say, because that would be in people's heads, say, well, that's after tax, or that's before tax. And so Ms. Cole-Hamilton would find a way to say that, but we will make sure we communicate that, and I think that would be a draw.
So I'll offer up an amendment to
Okay.
the motion that we help me with the wording, somebody. We want to amend this to make this $500 for new hires after taxes. That's my motion.
So do we need to? Okay, I want to make sure I'm doing this.
I think you amended, vote on your amendment.
And then vote on the other with amendment.
Okay.
I
Okay.
believe.
So my amendment needs a second,
So what was your amendment? I didn't hear, did Barbara get it?
that the $500 incentive for new hires is after taxes.
Okay, so do I have a second for that amendment? Okay, so Ms. Bronzell seconded it. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, so I'll call for the vote. All in favor with the motion with the amendment?
Or just the amendment?
Just the amendment?
Just the
Okay.
amendment.
It's been a while since I've done one of these. Raise your hand, say aye. Okay. Where is Clay? Oh, there he is. Oh, I didn't see you. Okay. So you'll stop me if I'm,
Yeah.
okay.
Now you vote, now the motion's been amended,
Well, hold on. So, sorry, Barbara, motion carried. All, none opposed. Okay.
motion's been amended, so now you vote on the amended motion.
Okay, so now, all in favor for the amendment to,
Amendment.
or do I have a motion?
No, we already have that.
Already a motion, okay. I call for the vote. All in favor for the amended motion? Okay, none opposed, motion carries.
Learn something in 6 years.
That's good, yeah.
Way to go, Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Bates.
Thank you all.
Okay, next is to consider item 9B, action item 9B, consider approval of expansion of community eligibility. Oh, my word.
Eligibility.
Thank
It's
you.
a hard word.
Provisions, CEP, I'm going with CEP.
All right, Mr. Buchanan.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Dr. Nivens. Tonight, we bring forth a discussion and possible approval of expansion of our CEP program. It was established in 2010 through an act of Congress. It's an alternative approach for operating our school lunch programs. It does provide free breakfast and lunch to all students at the CEP campuses. CEP campuses are available to schools and grouping of schools where percentages of direct certification are above 40%. Direct certification means that the students have been identified by the Texas Department of Health Human Services as receiving some form of assistance outside of the district. Currently, these are the list of campuses that we have within the district. We have 24 campuses that are already CEP campuses. So the state takes all of our campuses and categorizes them into three categories. They're the non-eligible, the potential eligible, and the eligible. The reason that we can group the potential eligible and the eligible campus together, and what it does is, as we group those together, it increases our reimbursement rate. So our rate that we're getting reimbursed for each meal goes up depending on how we group those schools. And we're not allowed to take the non-eligible campuses and group them in any way, form, or fashion. So if the state identifies them as potential or eligible, those are the campuses that we're allowed to look at and group. The Child Nutrition Department is a federally funded program, and it does not use local tax funds to operate. Also, the Child Nutrition Department feeds every student if they come in and they need a meal. Right now, at a non-CEP campus, if a student account is allowed to go negative up to $15. At that point in time, the Child Nutrition Department and campus go reach out to those families to try to get that paid, but we will still serve the student, and we serve them a value meal, and a value meal is a single entree with a milk. So by law, the Child Nutrition Department is not allowed to go into the negative, so it cannot operate in the red at any point in time. So at the end of the year, those negative balances of student accounts and the value meals that we've served throughout the year have to be paid off. It's estimated because, we're using 3-year-old data because of the free-for-all that has been in place. We're currently estimating between a $15,000 to $20,000 annual impact to the general fund for those accounts and negative balances. By increasing our CEP campuses, this will reduce the impact on our general fund. So right now, we're requesting expansion for our CEP campuses as Harry Wright Junior High School and Dr. Thomas E. Randall High School. Are there any questions about the expansion of CEP?
I don't hear any. Thank you so much. Okay, so may I have a motion to approve the expansion of CEP?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Lambert made the motion. Ms. Denziger seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, may I call for the vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? Mr. Welch opposed, motion carries. Okey-dokes. So we will now have reports and presentations on the information items.
All right, trustees, so we have our first information item. We have Mr. Ramiro Estrada, I'm trying to say it right, to talk about our musical instrument usage fee regulations.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Tonight I have a brief presentation on our new administrative regulation on musical instrument usage fees. This will be the admin reg for FP Legal. We used a focus group of instrumental music teachers to provide some feedback on setting the amount of the fee and some input on developing a protocol for providing waivers. The fee will be set at $30 per year beginning in fall 2022. The usage agreement will also be updated to include the fee as well as some updated terms. Here is the text of the regulation. The revenues generated will be deposited into the campus activity account to be used for musical instrument maintenance and maintenance supplies to be dispersed by the director on the campus. The waiver protocol: if a student and his or her parent or guardian are unable to pay the fees, the following procedures will be followed for waiving such fees. They will complete the application for a waiver, and if after reviewing the application, the principal or designee determines that the family is unable to provide the necessary supplies or fees, the principal or designee, the teacher on the campus, will grant the waiver. Here are some of the updated usage terms in our agreement for the students and parents to sign. Students who lose or significantly damage any school instrument beyond normal wear and tear due to negligence will be required to pay for the cost of replacement or repair. Students who do not properly care for their school-owned instrument will lose the privilege of using that instrument at the discretion of the campus principal and/or designee. And students are required to pay their usage fee, arrange a payment plan, or request a waiver by the fourth Thursday in September, or be removed from the music program. That just gives us a deadline so that the teachers don't have to chase this throughout the whole semester. Are there any questions?
I don't hear any. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, trustees, next we have Mr. Buchanan to talk about a bus purchase grant reimbursement.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Dr. Nevins. Tonight, we'll bring forth some information about our bus grant. On April the 27th, the district received a grant through the HGAC, which is the Houston Galveston Area Council, in the amount of $588,437.94. The condition of the grant was that we were to purchase 10 new buses and then take those 10 older buses and remove them from service. So we did purchase those 10 new buses in the summer of '21, and they were put in operation for the 21-22 school year. The purchase cost for those 10 buses was $1,152,292, which included 8 regular passenger buses, 77 regular passenger buses, and 253 passenger buses with lifts. Are there any questions?
Mr. Welch?
Could you help us understand why do they require the older buses be decommissioned or taken out of service?
A lot of this is through the EPA Clean Air Act. So what they're doing is they want to ensure that you cut the frame of the bus, also put a hole through the block, and you have to take pictures of all of that so that you're not just taking that dirty bus, they consider a dirty polluting bus, and resell it and it'd be still on the street.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you so much. Bless you.
All right, bond update.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Dr. Nevins. Tonight, we want to bring forth some information about our bond program that we have currently. In the month of April, we paid 56 payouts for a total of $5,739,633.09. An update on our Lamar CISD police station. Those proposals will be opening this month. We'll be bringing back those evaluations and bringing forth a recommendation to the board for possible approval at the June board meeting. James Steenbergen Middle School is currently in the construction document phases. As we work through those, we are laying that out. Again, this will be on the Randall and Wright complex, and we're anticipating making a recommendation in August or September of this year for a contractor, depending on how those bids and evaluations come out. The last one is Viola Randall Elementary School. This is on the north side of town. This is currently, again, in the construction document phases. We're looking to advertise possibly in July or August with a recommendation to the board in either August or September. This is located in the Jordan Ranch subdivision. Are there any questions about our bond program?
I don't see here any. Thank you.
Yep, one more, Mr. Buchanan.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Dr. Nivens. Tonight, we want to bring forth a
Groundhog
discussion
Day.
about our Foster water well. Currently, we have a water well and a treatment plant located for that complex. Right now, it's through the TECQ permitting. We're allowed to operate our own mud. So we are our own mud utility district. So we provide our own water and do our own sewer treatment for that secondary complex as a whole. So we play an outside vendor, we have an outside contractor, and we have a contract with them that meets those laws and regulations and helps maintain that for the district. Currently on site, we have 2 water wells. One was installed in 2000 with the original complex when it was built. We installed another one in 2018 along with an at-grade storage tank. And we have a sewer treatment plant. Those are located at the very back of the complex, behind that athletic building and the tennis courts. So those campuses that's serviced by the complex that we have is both Foster High School, Briscoe Junior High, and Wertheimer Middle School. Well, right now, we have been working with our well 1, and it has failed, and it is in need of repair. Well 2 is able to meet our current demand for those 3 campuses. So what we're doing right now is we're working with Kaluza and Associates through an approval from the board for our civil engineering that got approved. They're working on design to replace that. We're working with TECQ. They've been notified. The reason it says notification in progress, it depends whether we can replace that well, if we can re-drill the well, or if we have to re-permit the well. So there's some different processes that have to go in place. So Kaluza's working with the state on what that looks like and what that permitting process. If we have to replace it, it could take up to a year just to get the permit to re-drill the well that we have. So we're monitoring the situation and keeping it at a forefront with the water situation that we currently have at this complex. Also, that this will be funded through our 2017 bond savings, available savings that we have. Right now, we have an estimated budget of maybe anywhere between $400,000 to $1 million, depending on what type of repairs that are needed at that facility. Are there any questions about the Foster water well?
I don't hear any. Oh.
So if well 1 has failed, is there a possibility that well 2 could eventually do that? And do we have a backup?
Long term, it can be. We're looking at the well and the well design. Things have changed, from 2000 to 2018. So there's some things that were done differently in the 2018 well than the 2000. So we're also looking at that as we go forward. We're replacing that well, is diameter, size, depth, and other things in construction.
All right, thank you so much. I think is he coming back?
He is coming back.
He's coming back. Okay.
He is. I don't know why he turned around. He is coming back.
We'll now review the
So,
future action item, just.
One more, and then you'll be done, sir.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Dr. Nivens. Tonight, we bring forth a future action item, and this is a discussion about the paving loop at Williams Elementary. Earlier, the board approved the construction delivery method, which is a job order contract. We have some preliminary designs. This design is a little bit more refined than what it was the last meeting with the traffic study. They've laid everything out. Currently, we're working to get those and any drainage that may pertain as we continue to lay that concrete across that. Right now, Joyner is doing the design with Kaluza. We're using a job order contract that was approved through a cooperative. We're looking at using a 2017 bond savings to be able to fund it. The estimated budgets that we're getting now is somewhere in the neighborhood of $500,000 or less to be able to put that and get that completed before the first day of school. Are there any questions about the Williams paving and bus loop?
Can you just share what, when you say that we're using the bond savings money, what that means?
So currently what we do is as we continue to close out projects and we have projects that we have within our bonds, once we meet what we've said we were going to do with the money, for instance, Morgan Elementary, the board approved the closeout of that project tonight. We take any excess, any savings being under budget for that project, and we move it to a 2017 available savings fund. That fund comes back to the board for any money spent out of that fund for approval on any other projects that may be associated with the 2017 bond or necessary needs within the district.
Thank you. I think it's just good to hear because we're trying to be really good stewards with our money at the same time and not going out for new money when we can use what we have, so.
Yes, ma'am.
It's very helpful, yes. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next we have our 2022-2023 Student Code of Conduct presentation by Dr. Maxwell.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Dr. Nivens. Tonight's presentation is a future action item requesting the board to approve the 2022-23 Student Code of Conduct. As a reminder, discipline in Texas public schools are governed by Chapter 37 of the Texas Education Code. From the guidance of Chapter 37, all public schools in the state of Texas create a Student Code of Conduct, which in LCISD we present to you guys annually. As a reminder, the Student Code of Conduct is utilized by campus administrators as a guide for assigning appropriate discipline for student behavior. The Student Code of Conduct can also be found within the LCISD Student Handbook. There weren't many changes, but the major changes for our Student Code of Conduct included the maximum number of days for a DAEP placement shifted from 173 to 171. That is to align with the approved instructional calendar. Also, the discipline code chart on pages 18 and 19 was updated to provide more clarity, as it was updated to ensure that codes were not found in multiple sections of the chart. This update was to ensure consistency of administrating discipline outcomes across the district, and again, I'm going to highlight that chart later on in this presentation. Some specific information, though, that I want to have for clarity for parents and students, these are not changes, but are found in our current Code of Conduct, includes drug dog searches, and you may recognize one of our new officers up on the presentation. That is, if an alert happens, then that gives us reasonable suspicion or cause for a search or an investigation. Also, we have a misuse of technology. This includes any students who are using a recording device and then posting video, audio, or pictures online of other students or themselves with violating the Student Code of Conduct. That will also result in a violation of the Student Code of Conduct, and I'll kind of show you where that is on our chart. So this is our discipline code chart, and I know it's very small, so I apologize. If you guys can read that off for me, that'd be great. But one thing I want to highlight is that this kind of shows for our students and parents the progression, and it goes from left of minor offenses all the way to the right of expellable offenses. What we did is want to make sure that all of our administrators understand where these fall, as well as our students and our families. The highlighted one, which you see yellow and red, which I can see is very clear on my screen right here, that is the one of misuse of technology. That is where the students may record a video of a fight, those types of things. We did move that up a level because of what has happened on our campuses and what we've had feedback from our principals. Along with that chart at the bottom, this aligns with the outcomes of that chart. These are possible discipline aspects for each of those levels of discipline for our students. We made these changes based on feedback from our administrators, but we also wanted to provide clarity. We wanted to make sure that we utilized the discipline levels so that there was also equity across our campuses for decision outcomes. As you can see, where we had that new change happen right here in the middle of major offenses. What we're requesting is board approval, but the district would make future edits to the Student Code of Conduct based on legal updates from TASB, which could impact the Student Code of Conduct, and those will most likely be released in June. Any questions?
The Code of Conduct is universal throughout the whole district, but principals do have their discretion if they need something expanded for their specific campuses.
There's always an investigation. There is some flexibility built in, but in the chart you'll see these are required outcomes, and then there's some others that at the bottom that the principal or administrator could use.
Okay.
Mr. Welch?
Dr. Maxwell, could you explain, could you lay out for the parents why recording a fight, for instance, in a school is a disciplinary action?
The reason is that it causes major disruption at our campuses. It also then can bring other students into the fold. We also have investigations that are occurring that we want to make sure that we're following all of those items and getting the factual truth. When we have those videos go out, or if we have those recordings happening, what it causes more major disruptions that happen, and it can cause a domino effect. And we want to make sure that we have all of our students following the expectations across the campus.
My second question, one of the last points you had was about TASB. You're hoping I'm asking a question. We're not pre-approving future TASB updates at this time.
At this time, we're expecting updates from TASB, but because it wasn't a legislative year, we're not expecting any major changes when it comes to the Student Code of Conduct. But we just want to make sure, because if they bring.
Anytime they do release an update, this board has to approve it for Lamar.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mostly. So when TASB releases an update, they give us legal updates and then local updates, like our policy.
Right.
So if they send us a legal update, we have no choice but to implement it.
Right, because that's above the authority of Lamar.
That's right, that's right. So what we're just saying is if there's a legal update about any kind of disciplinary consequence, that we cannot wait until we have another board meeting to discuss it for approval before we implement it because of the law.
Gotcha.
But if there is a local update, then yes, then it is the board's role to approve those before we implement them.
Gotcha, thank you.
So our next meeting is June 7th. We might not have the TASB updates, but we still might be asked to approve this student code of conduct, and then the administration will just update the student code of conduct after June 7th with the TASB legal updates?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And if there's a local one that is not aligned with the legal one, so, I don't know, we say, vaping may go up to a whole different consequence legally. And so then that is something we would have to implement immediately, and if that's it would align, local would align with the legal. And so if there's anything that TASB would present to us that does not align with legal, that is something that the district has an option in implementing, that would come to the trustees before we implemented it.
Any other questions? All right, thank you so much. Okay, so are there any other items on the future consent agenda that the trustees would like to pull for discussion for the June board meeting?
I have one.
Mr. Welch?
I don't know about discussion, maybe a presentation from the administration on the Kickstart program, 12C. And you could answer some of my questions in that presentation, like what's the cost benefit? Why that particular campus versus others, and those kinds of things.
Okay. Any others? Okay. Okay, we are now back in open session. It is 9:42 p.m. We have a quorum with all members present. Are there, actually, I'm going to make a motion. I move to approve the proposed extension to the superintendent's employee contract and evaluation results. Do I have a second?
A second.
Mr. Welch seconds. Any discussion?
You're really wanting some discussion,
I know,
aren't you?
like, we value you very much, and so I don't know how much we should say out loud, but we're just really grateful for you and all the work that you've poured into this district over the last year, so thank you. Yeah. All in favor, and the team, yes, it's your contract though, but yes. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. None opposed, motion carries. Ms. Barnzell, could you read the other motions? Oh, there you go, yay.
Madam President, I move that the Board of Trustees terminate the contracts of Aaron Waring and Jennifer Flores for contract abandonment pursuant to Texas Education Code Section 21.211, and the board find that and that the board find that neither Aaron Waring or Jennifer Flores has had good cause for abandoning their contracts. Did you get all that? It didn't come out good.
Barbara? She's got it. Okay, do I have a second? Ms. Danziger seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed, motion carries.
Madam President, I move that the Board of Trustees terminate the probationary contract of Amanda Graham for contract abandonment pursuant to Texas Education Code 21.104, and that the board finds that Amanda Graham did not have good cause for abandoning her contract.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Danziger seconds. Any discussion?
Everybody's scared.
Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed, motion carries. Okay, so next up is board officer elections. I just wanted to say a little something before we begin this process. Over the last 2 years, I've seen how well each trustee, despite our range of philosophies on the board, we have always put the students first. And so I'm just super grateful to work with a board that I've seen that personally with every single trustee. And so I know every time that we nominate officers, we're looking at what's best for kids. And I'm just grateful that we all work so well together despite any differences. So I'm honored to serve with this board, truly. So,
Thank you, Joy, for your hard work.
thank you, thank you. So we will now proceed with board officer elections. The floor is now open for nominations for president. Ms. Danziger?
I would like to nominate Alex Hunt for president.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay. Are there any other nominations? Okay, trustee Alex Hunt has been nominated for the office of president. Are there any further nominations for the office of president? If none, nominations are closed. I will now call for the vote. All those in favor of trustee Alex Hunt, please vote. Raise your hand, say aye. Okay. All those opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Hunt.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. The floor is now open for nominations for vice president. Are there any nominations? Mr. Hunt?
I nominate Joy Williams for vice president.
Are there any other nominations? Okay. Hearing none. I don't think we have to have a second.
It's not necessary,
Yeah.
I guess.
I like that you saying it earlier, but we don't have to. Yeah. Well, you can, if you want to, but it's not, it's technically, okay. Okay, so I will now call for the vote, or let's see, sorry. Trustee Joy Williams has been nominated for the board vice president. I'll now call for the vote. All those in favor of trustee Joy Williams, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All in favor, none opposed, motion carries. Okay.
Congratulations, Joy.
Thank you. The floor is now open for nominations for secretary. Do I hear any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Zach.
Okay. Again. Okay. Any other nominations? Okay, trustee Zach Lambert is nominated for the office of secretary. I'll now call for the vote. All those in favor of trustee Zach Lambert, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
You can vote for yourself. Wait, sorry, one more time, I didn't see everybody. Okay, none opposed, motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Lambert. Okay, are there any other further or future agenda item? I'm sorry.
we have one
Yes,
more.
you're so right, I apologize. Next, may I have a motion to approve authorization to use current facsimile plates? Do we need to describe what that is? You know what that is?
It's for the checks.
Mr.
I would like a.
Can we get a description?
It's the check signing plate.
Go ahead. Let's let Barbara do it. Go ahead, Barbara.
So the employee checks are signed by the board president and the secretary. And so the current plates have the current board president and secretary, and there needs to be at least this will allow at least 90 days to get the plates changed so that the checks, everyone can get paid on the next pay cycle without the names being messed up. So
Interruption.
this is allowing authorization for the current plates to be used until the new plates can be made, and all checks, sorry, not just employee checks, but all checks that the district sends out.
So there's no interruptions in the meantime, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So I have a question. So when a new facsimile plates come in, does the board have to take action on the new ones, or? Okay.
You
All right,
said
I just
no,
wanna make
Joe?
sure.
No.
Okay, so this motion is only to continue to use the current ones until the new ones come in?
Yes.
Okay.
90 days.
Got it. So the motion is to continue to use the current ones until the new ones come in.
Okay. So I have a motion. Do I have a second? Did somebody make the motion? I gotta double check that.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and Mr. Humanak seconds. Sorry. You got that, Barbara?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's getting late, sorry. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed, motion carries. Now, are there any future, many future agenda items coming up, but does anybody want to talk about them? Not agenda items, sorry, I was thinking events.
I've been trying to, as the current chair of the policy committee, I've been trying to coordinate a meeting with the policy committee members, and we've had a hard time coordinating our schedule. So if before the next agenda is printed for the June 7th meeting,
Yes.
I would like an information and/or action item on that June 7th agenda that will have the library, about the library books, the presentation that the district already passed with the parent committee involvement, beside the TEA's recent recommendations, beside the TASB recent recommendations. So we can have all three laid out before us, and we can make changes to our local policy about books in our library if necessary for the next school year.
She got all that. Okay. Any other future agenda items?
If we could take care of that in a policy meeting, we would do that before, but because of schedules and summer coming up and graduations, we're having a little bit of a tough time coordinating that, so.
I hear you.
Have we even gotten all that information to the district yet?
Yes.
Yeah, TASB sent it yesterday, and then Dr. Jones met with TASB sent it yesterday, and then Dr. Jones met with the parent committee this evening.
Okay, so.
And so they'll hash all that out.
Sooner than
Right, they'll hash all that out.
Okay, are there any upcoming meetings or events? Lots of them, the next 5 nights. Okay, well, the meeting is adjourned. It is now 9:52 PM. This is yours, sir.